excited to get back into it. Excited to get back in front of the screen, talk to you guys, get that positivity, get some of this education out there to you all. Today's episode is actually something that I just recently learned, the principle of be, do, have. First, I want to talk about the words be, do, have. Be, that's just fundamental. That's what you are. Do, those are the actions. Have is a result. So, you fundamentally creating actions to get a result. That blew my mind. It was crazy because it makes so much sense, and I'm so excited because, like, really, when I say it meshes just so perfectly. So, who you are affects what you do, and what you do affects what you have. So we talk about the BU 4-point plan, and I'm not going to make this video about the synchrony because I'm going to actually create a video later on. But I just want to highlight this so it's always in your mind. The BU 4-point plan is taking where you are now, making the changes, doing something to get to where you want to be, the results, the having. What do you want to have? What do you have to do now until you get to that point to get that result? So getting back to the principle of be, do, have. You don't be, you can't do. You can't do, you won't have. Be little, do little, have little. Be a lot, do a lot, have a lot. They all go in full succession. You can't have one without the other. You can't have a lot, do a little, and be little. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna last. It's not gonna sustain itself. You have to be more. Become more. See, a lot of people think that if the results aren't being had, work harder. No, I never once got up there and told those high schoolers to work harder for their dreams. I told them to think about who they are today. Think about the actions that they take today. Think about the things that they do on a daily basis. Think about the weaknesses that they can change. Think about a transformation within self to have more externally. Everything starts here, and then it flows here, and then it goes out. You create the thought in the mind, you put some emotion behind it, and then it goes outwardly through action. You have to understand, in order to have more, you have to do more. You have to be more. You can't skip steps, okay? So let's talk about being. Let's talk about be. You have to understand who you are first, not what the world projects on you, not what the world tells you you are, not what the world expects you to be. You have to truly find out who you are. What are you as a person? What makes you that person? I had to figure out what made me Andre Colvin. What made me that? Who is Andre Colvin? Who is Andre Colvin right now? I had to think about it. I had to research it. And I couldn't take my parents' words for it. They raised me out of all due respect. But I had to understand who I was. How did I get here? How did I really come to be? What factors played a part in my being? And when I realized some of those things, I'm not saying that I'm fully knowledgeable. You're always learning. But when I realized who I was, in a sense, I had to become more. I couldn't accept the cycle that was accepted before me. I had to become more. But in order to become more, I had to make changes. Okay? There are changes that have to be made. You have to be willing to make those changes. There's that action. Because while you're making those changes, you're going to be moving forward, of course. Naturally, progression is going to happen. Because you're going to be changing your weaknesses to strengths. This means you get stronger, more logical, more understanding, more wise, more knowledge. That translates. Information is supposed to transform you. Information creates transformation if used right. So again, that's where that research came in for me. I had to go get that information about who I really was, where I came from, who my people really was. So then I can create a transformation within myself. Because I use that information to build up my self-esteem and my confidence when it was at an all-time low. I use that information to get a sense of pride and a sense of self. I use that information as fuel and confidence to be able to get up here and spread this knowledge, because everyone needs this kind of information. Everyone needs to understand that the goals that they have aren't the problem. The problem is the understanding of how we're going to achieve those goals. We're not going to achieve those goals by just working hard. You have to change internally, mentally. There's a transformation that has to take place. There's a growing that has to take place. We can't get by being who we are right now, thinking we're going to achieve those things that are past our stratosphere right now. We need to understand who we have to become in order to achieve the things that we desire. Okay? So realize who you are. Understand who you are. And then understand who you have to become. Who you have to be. And the things that you have to do in order to be that. Because that's the next step. Do. Be, do, have. So do. Once you understand who you are and who you have to be, now it's time to do something. It's time to do something about it. And this is where a lot of us go flat. So where a lot of us detract. A lot of us hit that detour. A lot of us say, you know what? I think I'm going to hit the beach instead. You know what? Party like it's jumping tonight. I'm going to slide. You know what? One more game, man. Just one more game. You know what? We having a good little conversation, the vibe, right? I ain't checking for that homework right now. I ain't checking for them responsibilities right now. I'm just doing a lot of things that don't correlate to things that we want to have. And I'm not saying we're not going to work. I'm not saying that. We're going to work faithfully. Complaining about it, all that good stuff, yeah. But on the side note, after work, you have to fully understand that your job has its place in your life. But that time away from your job also has its place in your life. And yes, we all want to relax after the day. I've been there, done that, understand it. I still relax, trust me. But you still have to do some type of planning. You still have to put some type of effort towards your life in order to set yourself up to become more, to become that person. Okay? So that doing is a strong factor. That's a strong contributor. It's in the middle because it's literally the last step. It's the thing between you right now and what you really want to have. The actions that you take. That's the only thing that's between what you are right now and what you want to have. The principle of be, do, have shows you that. That's all it is. Point blank period. Give me 1 second. So, like I was saying, that's the only thing that's standing between what you actually want to have, the results you actually want to obtain. Okay, so I took a little moment to draw this up for you. So again, be, that's who you are. Okay, do are the actions that you take, and have the results that you get. So to pretty much break this down again, it's what you become will determine and be determined by the things that you do, the changes that you implement. Okay? And that will then show you the lifestyle that you're going to live. So think about if you changed your weaknesses, how would your life potentially look? Think about if you don't change. How do you think your life will look? See, these are the things that we don't really think about long term. We're just always in the now. And we have to get rid of that YOLO lifestyle when we're trying to accomplish massive achievements. Because massive achievements are going to come with a YOLO lifestyle. An instinctual lifestyle is going to just be short, quick, and over in a second, blink of an eye. So we have to stop thinking YOLO. We have to start thinking long term. We have to start thinking, what do I really need to look at internally to start changing? Because we love doing this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever wants to talk about themselves. It doesn't matter what the other person is doing because you can't control them. So pointing the finger at everybody else but yourself doesn't help you grow. Doesn't help you progress. I think the best advice I've ever taken was to take blame for everything. Find your fault in everything. Because if you can find your fault in everything, you can grow from everything. If you can grow from everything, that means you're always growing. If you're always growing, that means you're always progressing. That means you're moving forward. You're moving towards something. You're bettering yourself. You're becoming a better person. So implement that to help you with the becoming part. Think about who you are internally. Think about the bad attitudes you may have. Think about what people tell you when you're arguing, you know? Because people do, they speak hard truths. But think about some of the things that they say. When they tell you, hey, you don't listen. You have a bad attitude. You're kind of unagreeable. You don't do this right. You don't do that right. Yeah, it's hard to hear in those moments, but really think about what they're saying. And then evaluate it. I'm not saying take it to heart. I'm not saying like, oh, okay, just take everything that someone says. No. Evaluate. Do you really have that weakness? Is that really something that you have a problem with? Do you always roll your eyes? Do you have to get loud every time you have a conflict? Do you shut down every time you have a conflict? Are you a person that procrastinates a lot? Do you like to put things off? Do you blame everybody else for your problems? There's a lot of questions that you can ask yourself. There's a lot of questions I had to ask myself. And it's hard at first. But it becomes fun to recognize the things that you can change. Because guess what? Every time you check something else, that's something you know that you've gotten better at. Every time you highlight something, that's something that you know that you're finna start getting better at. And then you can start looking at this. Because I just realized this. This is just recent information for me. So now I better understand. Like, I knew from the BU, you know what I'm saying, something that we constructed in BU, that it was like, okay, we have to take those steps to change. We have to really, but I didn't know that was a full-on principle. And that's why I wanted to talk about, how the BU 4.1 plan really ties into this. We're going to get into that in another video. So let's move on, because the action that you take, what you do is going to help you become who you need to be. Okay? So you're going to go from where you are, and you're going to start to take actions. But you're going to take those actions in alignment with who you need to become, or what you need to become, so that you can have or begin to, so that you can begin to make the changes necessary to have the results that you want. Okay? But if you just stay you, do nothing, you'll be stuck with the results that you get. And think about what doing nothing does. We'll talk about some different principles in a minute, but we really want to just understand that it's not as linear as we want, because you start here and you have to do something. And if you don't do something that is in alignment with what you need to become, you won't be able to make those changes that are necessary, that need to be implemented to get the results that you really want to get. So just understand that do portion is very important, because it's where you are right now plus the actions that you need to take in order to produce change will get your results. The results is on the other side of the change. So I guess the real equation is you plus the necessary actions equals change plus time equals the results that you want. Because it's going to have to go through time. That change is going to happen over time. It's not going to happen overnight. So you have to understand, in order to take you where you are and get to where you want, and get to who you need to become, you have to do something about it. You have to do something about it. You have to make a change. You have to get that change time. And once you become who you need to become, you can have what you want to have. But if you never become who you need to become, you never have what you thought you were wanting to have, okay? So let's talk about that have, the results. Because a lot of us, we have entrepreneurial dreams. We have those spirits. We have high aspirations. We have dreams. And the kingdom of dreams is never, ever here to break down any dream, to break apart any dream in any fashion, way, or function, no. However, there are some dreams that we do not support. I will say that. But I'm not here to bash or tear down any dreams. To be realistic with you. To be that big brother figure or little brother figure that just always is going to be honest. If you're not putting in the work, it's not going to happen. If your actions and steps, if your path isn't in alignment with where you need to be and who you need to be, you're not going to get the results that you want. So the have, what you have, that's a dependent. That is dependent on what you do and who you become. Now, are some of us further along? Or is the starting point further along for some of us? Absolutely, sure. The starting point is not equal for everybody. But guess what? Everyone has a starting point. Let me stop. What you want is attainable. And that's for anybody. Whether you're homeless, whether you're just starting high school, whether you're finishing up high school, whether you were good in high school, whether you were great in high school, whether you're going to college, whether you're not going to college, whether you'll be great in college, whether you won't be great in college. What you want is attainable. You just have to become the person who attains it. You have to become the person needed, necessary to have the results that you want. And none of us are born ready for the results that we want. None of us are born ready for the purpose that we were put on this earth for. You have to become that person. There are skills that you have to learn, journeys and experiences that you have to have, people that you must meet, partnerships and alliances, principles that you must learn. Most of all, you must learn who you really are. Because from a baby, we have no real knowledge. Everything that we learn is learned through someone else. We're told who we are from birth. We have to go on a self-discovery journey and figure out who we really are, what we really should be doing, where we really should be walking, the path that we really should be taking, the actions that we really should be taking in order to get the results that we must have, that we want to have, that we truly desire. So that's what I really wanted to talk about today. I really wanted to dive in on that. I feel like this is really important, guys, ladies, gentlemen, kings, queens, princesses, and princes. This is very, very important. The principle of be, do, have. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about how that aligns with the BU 4-point plan. And that's pretty much this. Kingdom of Dreams, this is Andre Colvin 3-2. I'm out. Be, do, have it, baby.